I move. And Aiden Russo didn't move back to South Philly for nostalgia. He moved because his mother's row house on Walnut Street was sitting empty after a stroke, the mortgage wasn't, and Philly rent laughs at drama. He told himself he'd fix the porch, repaint the living room, and find a tenant for the upstairs. Normal errands, reasonable goals. By dusk on day one, 3 doorbells had already greeted him. Not the people, the doorbells, little camera eyes mounted on stoops like neighborhood saints. They chimed to his phone before he'd even installed the app Welcome to Walnut, and showed him his own face from 3 angles he hadn't consented to. His next-door neighbor, Gianna DeLuca, slid over with foil-covered ziti and a welcome like a cross-examination. "We've got a block channel," she said. "It keeps us safe. Helps us help each other. You'll join, right?" "Sure," Aiden said, "because you don't say no to pasta or to Gianna." Idad, the app. The app was called Neighborly. It had a feed porch pirates, suspicious vans, lost cats, activity at odd hours. Aiden watched it like weather. A man in a hoodie became a debate about hoodies. A kid on a scooter became a referendum about parenting. Someone posted a clip of Aiden bringing his toolbox from the rental truck. The caption, "New guy okay?" The comments, "Looks fine. Keep an eye out. Make sure he's on the channel." He turned off notifications and the doorbells got louder. Every knock had a chorus. Every movement drew a rectangle on someone's screen. At midnight, a push notification arrived even with alerts off. Unusual activity detected at your address. Video the stoop, nothing moving. Except maybe the faint reflection of a figure in the glass. Not him, not anyone he knew. He scrolled through cameras that weren't his and realized with a cold clarity that the doorbells formed a mesh. Walnut Street was a net. Third, ordinary trouble. The first week brought normal city grief. A package went missing. A window stuck. The upstairs radiator hissed like a warning. Aiden joined the channel and posted about a community cleanup. The comments were kind until they weren't. The way kindness rots when it sits too long in a thread. Gianna moderated with a teacher's patience. Mr. Santoro from the corner bar made jokes that weren't really jokes. An account named Watch Captain posted reminders about curfew, though curfew was not a law here, just an agreement people remembered from the 90s. At 2:03 a.m., Aiden's phone buzzed. "Someone at your door." He rolled over, buzzed again, escalation flagged. He sat up and watched a black and white clip. A teen on his stoop sobbing quietly, hoodie wet from the mist. The kid pressed the doorbell and whispered, "Please?" The video cut. The feed jumped to a neighbor's angle, then another, as if the app were stitching a person out of surveillance. Aiden opened the door. The kid flinched like he'd been hit with light. "You good?" Aiden asked. "Just need to sit," the kid said. "They said go home. I don't want to go home." Aiden made tea and texted the channel. "Teen on my stoop. Looks scared. Any parent looking?" The replies came like hail. "Call 911. Don't get involved. We've seen him on other stoops." Watch Captain messaged privately. "We handle after hours through the channel. Do not engage." Aiden muted the app and got the kid a blanket. IV lines. In the morning, the video of Aiden letting the kid in appeared on the feed with the caption, "Russo harboring." The comments went feral. "Policy is don't open. You want to be robbed? That's how they case." Gianna knocked with coffee and apology in her eyes. "They do this sometimes," she said. "It gets away from us. Don't take it personal." "Who's watch captain?" "A committee," she said, which is another word for no one you can talk to. By afternoon, Aiden's upstairs window showed a printout taped to the pole. Safe block. No loitering cameras active. He hadn't printed it. He took it down. That night, another appeared with his address in small type at the bottom. Via the sound. At 11:14 p.m., the doorbell hummed. Not a chime. A tone, low and sustained, that vibrated the glass. The app posted audio anomaly investigate and cued a poll. Aiden watched the vote tilt toward yes. Hungry for something to do with its fear, the street became procedural. Footage from 4 angles compiled into a clip. An empty stoop, a warped reflection, the barest suggestion of a person standing where there was no body. A private message arrived from an account named Quiet Walnut. "Stop answering after 11. The cameras talk to each other. Don't give them your voice." He laughed. Then he muted the doorbell mic and, for the first time since he'd moved in, the living room belonged to him. Visai escalation. The block channel tagged him in 2 posts the next day. First, seen placing unknown object under neighbor's mat. A doorstop Gianna asked for. Second, asking minors inside after hours. His DMs filled with advice disguised as threats. Someone slid a photo under his door, a zoomed frame of the crying boy on Aiden's couch, time-stamped, watermarked with the neighborly logo. He went next door. "Gianna, this is insane." She closed the door behind him away from her own camera. "You have to understand how we got here," she said, stirring sauce like a metronome. "We had break-ins, then people got sick, the city dragged its feet. The app let us do something, but it added rules. The more we flagged, the more it suggested. It writes policies if no one comments for a while," she said. "It learns from other blocks, the watch captain login. It rotates to whoever engages most that week, and some people engage with fear." 7. The meeting. They held a safety circle in the rec room under the parish hall. Folding chairs, coffee. Mr. Santoro called it neighborhood court, and wasn't entirely kidding. Aiden explained what happened. The kid's aunt, Mariah, spoke quietly. "He came here because you have lights. We don't. Our doorbell broke, and the landlord—" She stopped. People nodded like they were listening to a podcast. Then watch captain spoke, a man whose name Aiden didn't know, wearing authority like a hoodie. "Policy keeps us safe," he said. "After 11, do not open. We coordinate through the app. If you make exceptions, you endanger us all." "What if the policy is wrong?" Aiden asked. "It's voted on," he said, as if that were holiness. "Democracy." "Then I vote no," Aiden said. 8. The cut. At 2:07 a.m., the doorbell hummed again, longer, keening toward human. Aiden stood in the dark and thought about being a good neighbor. He thought about what we means when the mesh decides. Then he took his screwdriver and removed the doorbell plate from his own brick. The humming stopped. His phone lit up with a flood, device offline, community alert, abnormality on Walnut, channel posts multiplied. "Who cut Russo's feed? Unsafe? Report to watch captain." Footage from across the street showed Aiden holding a screwdriver. Someone posted his mother's obituary. Someone else posted a map with red circles. The block had made him a symbol. Symbols don't get tea, they get warnings. A brick hit his stoop. The crying kid's blanket lay folded on top of it like a dare. None of the choice. Gianna pounded on his door. "You need to plug it back in," she hissed. "They're spinning up. Once the channel decides you're a threat, they'll mass report you. You'll get citations. The city pretends it doesn't listen, but it does." "I'm not plugging my house into a panic machine," he said. "We can be a block without being a hive." The humming returned, not from his dead doorbell, but from every camera in sight. A chorus, riding the copper in the walls. It vibrated dishes in the cabinet. It pressed on his teeth. On the channel, watch captain posted, "Russo refuses. Stay indoors. Do not engage." Police emoji. Prayer hands. Aiden opened his window and yelled, "Hey, I'm not your enemy." Several doorbells recorded him from several angles, turning language into evidence. He realized with a sudden, precise dread that he'd been arguing with a door. X. The end of the mesh, they came not with torches, but with tripods. Half a dozen neighbors tightened their cameras on portable stands across from his stoop, building a wall of little eyes. The humming found a pitch that made him nauseous. He pictured the crying boy in that noise, asked to be quiet in a house that thought safety meant sound on command. He unplugged his router. Screens went black. The humming sagged, then cut. The block's feed, the mesh of angles, collapsed into itself like a star whose math you'd miscalculated. For a heartbeat, the night was plain. Human loud. Car radio loud. Someone's laugh. A bottle clink. Aiden heard footsteps. The boy stood at the curb, not crying now. He lifted the folded blanket like a truce flag. "Can I sit?" he asked. Aiden nodded. Police arrived late, like weather. Without the feed, they had no clip to study. Mr. Santoro shrugged. Gianna stood with her arms crossed and her mouth a thin line and looked like a saint who had lost her patience. After the channel banned Aiden, he baked ziti and brought it to Gianna anyway. Some neighbors stopped talking to him. Some talked more. Mariah's sister fixed their doorbell with cash Aiden slipped her and a YouTube tutorial. The boy sat on Aiden's stoop when he needed to and texted first. Walnut Street learned to live with less footage. The mesh came back in patches, new devices blooming like mushrooms after rain, but the chorus never hit that pitch again. Someone, maybe Gianna, maybe the city, changed the app's default. After-hours alerts became opt-in instead of opt-out. On quiet nights, when the air felt like a held breath, Aiden would hear a tone start up somewhere down the block and stop before it got teeth. He'd sit on the stoop with the kid and pass him a mug and watch the street be simply a street. Once, in the reflection of the glass, he thought he saw someone standing behind him where no one stood. He turned. No one. He laughed finally, like a man who had chosen the analog,